Hello, my name is Tiffany Domina, and I'm here with Tiffany Kelly, and we are discussing today on unity. We know that unity is a detrimental topic to us being successful in our businesses and in our lives. So we want you to be able to reach your highest potential, and therefore we're here to study unity in a way that could benefit you in your life. So, Tiffany, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Tiffany Kelly with TK Coaching Company, Get in the Game. And like Tiffany said, we are here to talk about unity and some of the problems that we see in, I guess, life and in business is, especially for entrepreneurs, is that we think we can do everything by ourselves. So we have these grand ideas, and a lot of times we have the vision. The entrepreneur or the visionary may get the vision, and then you start taking actions, not seeking help or not asking for resources or for people to be able to build you up, but oftentimes you go at it and you feel like you're going alone. And so because you do that, oftentimes we fall short. And so one of the things we wanted to talk about is how unity can help you to catapult your business and also catapult your life. What about you, Tiff? What kind of problems have you seen with not incorporating unity in your life and in business?
I guess I was thinking on a different scale because I was writing notes about different problems that I've seen with lack of unity, such as racism and war, and but I also thought that in the same sense, if you look at them from a different angle, they also do have a presentation of unity because if you look at like the terrorist acts, they weren't acting alone. So they did have some form of unity, but they were fighting against some form of disunity. Or is that the right word?
Maybe
Or
segregation.
disruption, yeah, segregation. So I was looking at different things like that that have massively affected our world and the harmony that we have between countries. But I know that also trying to do things alone, that's a big problem. And that in itself is like when it's amassed and when it becomes on a larger scale, it does affect large corporations and it affects large communities and populaces of people. So I definitely agree with what you said too. And I want to go on and talk about a story,
Hmm.
share a story of lack of unity. And I guess I can share like a something from my workplace, and I had a story of lack of unity in my workplace. I go to work every day, but because of the difference in my future and how I carry myself, because I want to do something different with my future than what's at my job, then a lot of the people have like a either an envious behavior or a jealous behavior, and some of them just have an irritation because it seems like an illusion that I'm pursuing because they haven't seen it done before. So it creates a lack of unity, even though it's not my intention for it to be a lack of unity, because I continue to try to reach out and speak to different people, but sometimes because of just the difference in our destinies and the difference in our futures, they can't they're projecting their perspective onto me, and they're not willing to see a different perspective that is just it's just different,
Right.
and so it causes a lack of unity in the workplace.
I know for me, one of the things that I struggled with, it's kind of, I guess, maybe even something similar, but it was with my entire environment, and I tell this story over and over again, but it's my story, and I'm sticking with it. But a lot of times, well, for me, I always felt kind of like a duck out of water. So I was a part of a lot of organizations, and I make friends easily, but oftentimes my views are very different from the norm. And so, because of that, I thought well, part of my ego was like, okay, this is just, I don't want to be average. So I would hold on to that identity. I don't want to be average. I don't want to be like everybody else. And I kind of wore it like a badge of honor. But in me not wanting to be average or what I was calling average and wearing it by like a badge of honor caused me to separate myself from certain people. And so then I felt alone. And so then it's like, okay, you got these great ideas and you have this vision, which I know that this is the vision that God had given me. But because I had the perspective of um, I don't want to be average, it was kind of like I was looking at other people as if they were average or that was something negative. It was a bad perspective, but it also caused me to not be unified with those people, which may have been very well people that could have added to my pilgrimage or could have helped me in my in um, obtaining the things that I wanted to obtain or the things that I want to obtain in life. Because all of us have gifts and talents. And because I had that mindset, I could have missed out on some gifts and talents there that could have very well helped me because I had separated myself from that. And so
Yeah.
then I felt like I was on this island by myself. But once and I did, I moved, I separated myself, I got away from, um, away from my comfortable environment. But then I understood once I got away, it's like I still need people. Like I need a team. And so
Right.
once I realized that, then I really felt alone because I didn't have a team. I'm like, man, I'm out here by myself. The people that I came with are leaving. It's just like it's just me. And so then I started praying for for God to bring people into my life that would share the same or share some of the same ideas and be able to add to or help me to reach my goals. And that's exactly what started happening. So then I met Tiffany and her husband Steven. Right. And I've been meeting some wonderful people um, because now my perspective is different. And so I understand now that I need others to help me reach my goal. I cannot do it alone. And when you try to do it alone, you feel like it's overwhelming.
For
That's a
sure.
hard burden to carry, by yourself, especially if you feel like the vision is so large. And I feel like my vision is large. And it is, it'll touch many people, but I know that it's easier when I understand I don't have to do it alone. That I have to connect with others. And those connections, they will have something that I don't have. And that gives one of the things I learned in studying unity is when you connect with others, it gives you leverage because you don't have to do everything by yourself. So it may be somebody who's stronger in one area that you're not strong in, and then, you know, that takes the burden off your back to do those things that they're strong in. So
Right.
it's essential to your life, and it's as well as essential to um, business.
That's good. So I know you were doing research. You were sharing with me some things, some authors that you were looking into, like Simon Sinek and T.D. Jakes and different people. Can you share with me and um, with those that are watching? Can you share with us what like solutions to lack of unity you collected from those things that you read?
One of the biggest things, one of the things that I learned today from Simon Sinek was that when you understand that you don't have to do it alone, and that when you can kind of identify with what your purpose is, or what he would call your why is it you're doing what you're doing,
Mhm.
you understand that it's bigger than you. And
Mhm.
so, because it's bigger than you, you can't do it all. It's not a I in team, that you need a team, and that he used an example of Martin Luther King. And he was like, he gave an example of Martin Luther King was not the best orator. He didn't have Facebook. He didn't have Twitter. He didn't have, all of these social medias to send out syndications to different platforms to get people to gather for the March on Washington. So he had to have a team of people who was talking about the things that he was talking about for over 250,000 people to show up at this I have a dream speech. You know,
Mm,
so he used other people. He had to have other people to draw others to him and to accomplish what his goal was. And
right.
so in hearing that, I understood that you need a team to reach the multitude. He
Mm,
even used, well, T.D. Jakes, I was listening to him talking about the power of partnership, and he used Jesus as an example. He said when Jesus, came out of the gate, he said, wait a minute, he started picking his team. So he started going and, he went to Simon Peter and, he recruited the 12 disciples, and each one of them had a different strength. And,
mhm.
they functioned in their purpose, but even Jesus didn't do it alone. He had a team of people who helped him to spread his word, and he uses us even today to do that same thing. So some of the solutions that I came up with was that one, change your perspective to understand that you cannot do anything alone. You need people to do that. And so you need to pay attention to or open yourself up to be able to connect with others who can help you. And not think of it in a selfish way, like, oh, I'm only going to connect with you because you can do this. But think about
Right,
it holistically, that it's going to be an exchange. We're going to be helping each other, because just as much as I need you, you also need me. And so we
right.
can bring all of our gifts and talents together and help one another. So I think the biggest thing is changing your perspective or your perception, and then opening yourself up to allow or to ask that God will bring people into your life that you can connect with to help you to further your goals.
Yeah, that is good. So, um, I kind of wrote some things, even though you didn't number them exactly like this, but I wrote down, you talked kind of about codependency, about how we depend on each other and how we can't do things alone. You talked about how we need our team and how we have to be unselfish and change our perception.
Yes, that's good.
Okay. Yeah, that is good. My writing or my reading was about mysticism.
Mm.
And um, I was reading about, I was doing the research for my writing for my book, Perception, the Most Affluent Leader. But I was also, it tied so much into what we were discussing today in Unity that I just decided to bring some of it up today. So I was reading about how we all are created from, I mean, we're all created from a vibration, and we're all created from words. And all of the vibrations is what collects to form the energies that create what we see. And when we see that God made us in that unity and He made everything around us in that unity, it's only an illusion in our mind that causes us to separate, you
Mm.
know? And so, like, when we realize that the oxygen that I breathe is the same oxygen as you breathe, and when you breathe it, you make it more clear for me, so that, or you make it more pure for me. And I realize that everybody around me accents the environment that I see. And I realize the benefit of, like, if you drink water and you diffuse water, the benefit that that has for the creatures around me, which create the ecosystem that I live in, then I can have a lot more concern and empathy towards you because I understand that your health and your well-being greatly affects me.
Mhm.
And so I agree with you about changing our perception. And I think we have to look instead of at our individual problems and our individual lives. We have to open our view. And I actually had a quote to go along with that. Um, Here goes. It says, if we think only of ourselves, forget about other people, then our minds occupy a very small area. Inside that small area, even tiny problems appear very big, But the moment you develop a sense of concern for others, you realize that just like ourselves, they also want happiness. They also want satisfaction. When you have this sense of concern, your mind automatically widens. At this point, your own problems, even big problems, will not be so significant. The result? Big increase in peace of mind. So if you think only of yourself, only your own happiness, the result is actually less happiness. You get more anxiety, more fear. And that's from the Dalai Lama, his book, The Wisdom of Forgiveness.
Mm.
So that's my
Well,
perspective.
I think one thing that I did want to add is I think you're absolutely right that we do need to change our perception to understand that we need each other and that we, regardless if we want to believe it or not, we are all connected. Um, One of the things that came to me during the study, I don't know, I can't remember where I got it from, but understanding that unity is not conformity. So a lot of times we think that um, unity means that I have to be the same as you, and that's not true. Like we can come together for the common good, but I need to function in my strength or function in my purpose, and I need you to function in yours for the
Yes.
better of the whole. So it doesn't mean that we have to change ourselves to be, like when we sometimes when you hear somebody say one come on one accord, it's kind of like, well, I got to do what you say do, or and that's not what unity is. Unity, I think, is just being in harmony. So you may be an alto, and then I may be a tenor, and what's the other one?
Soprano
Song.
and soprano and bass.
Right, sopranos and bass, you play your part, but when we sing, if we sing in the same key, we can be in harmony. So, we all have a part to play in the grand scheme of this grand scheme of things, which we would call life. We all have our part to play in that. If we can really understand that we all need each other to succeed, or we all need each other to create a better world, then how less stressful am I if I know, well, I can go to my sister for, this advice because I know she's good at this thing. So I don't have to stress and worry about doing this because I have her on my team. That's what she's good at. And you like to do it. You know what I mean? So when you're functioning in your purpose, usually it's something that you enjoy doing it. Doing it doesn't seem like a burden. So understanding that we're all connected and understanding that we need each other. We need each other, period. And TD Jakes used the example of even when Adam was here, Adam was first, but in him was Eve. They needed each other to reproduce. So in order to bear fruit, you have to have a relationship. You have to have a connection. Even like he used the example of the bees, taking pollen and going to the trees and going to the other plants or whatever. If that never happens, then we never get fruit. So you have to have these connections in order to produce. And so if we want to further ourselves and bear great fruit, we have to have connections. We need each other.
That's true. So, of course, I know your background, and I know that your background is in life coaching, and you're doing a phenomenal job with TK Coaching Company. So, I want to put the spotlight on you, and I want to see if this will make you sweat a little bit. I want you to leave our listeners and our viewers. I want you to leave them with a challenge.
Okay. Absolutely. So this week, I would challenge you to, one, take some time in your meditation to decide or to pay attention to if you are working in unity. Think about all the areas in your life and then see how you are unified. What connections do you have? What connections do you have in business? What connections do you have at church? What connections do you have at work? And then begin to kind of look at things from a different perspective, or perception. Look at things in a different perception. So when you enter into your job tomorrow and you meet that person that kind of gets on your last nerve, just remember that we all need each other. So can you look past their flaws and see their strengths and see how you can be a benefit to them and how they can be a benefit to you. So as you go through your work week, let's look at things from a unified perspective.
That's good, Tiffany. And if at all possible, and I'm sure it is, it's more than possible. I shouldn't say that. Scratch that, scratch that. Leave comments for us below because we've been discussing different topics every week and we want to know that it's a benefit to you. And we also want you to know that we're constantly doing giveaways on our websites. My website is www.mandatorysuccess.com. I'll repeat that, www.mandatorysuccess.com. And if you stop by there, you can get whatever giveaway I have going on at the time. Right now, I'm giving away a free ebook, but me and Tiffany were just talking today, and we're going to be doing some scholarships coming up soon for different people in school. So, Tiffany, can you let them know your web address where they can contact you?
Yes, you can contact me at www.tkcoachinggetinthegame.com. I'll say that again, www.tkcoachinggetinthegame.com. So definitely visit the website. Leave your comments. Any questions that you may have, please post them to us because we want some dialogue from you all. And so we want to know that what we're doing here is helping someone. So if you leave us some messages, leave some comments, and we'll be sure to get back with you.
Yeah, and go and pick up our free giveaways. We leave your name and your email, and our free giveaways will be right at your door. So you guys have a good week, and we'll see you next week for the success discussion. So long.
Good night.